Welcome back to another episode of Daily Neville. I am your host, Josiah Brandt, and Daily Neville is all about breaking down the teachings of Neville Goddard, making them easy to understand, easy to digest, easy to apply in 20 minutes or less. Today we are continuing with Neville's famous 1942 book, Freedom for All, a practical application of the Bible. And this is a continuation of the last episode in which we got into chapter 7 of this book, titled Desire the Word of God. So far in this chapter, Neville has been teaching us some key aspects of understanding desire as a prophecy, desire as the Word of God. And so far, he's been talking about how we are instructed not to add to the Word, meaning in some way try to figure out using our left brain humanness how something is going to happen, or take from the Word, meaning compromise our desires in some way to try to make them more manageable or more easy to achieve. Neville also cautioned us that for those of us who have not yet discovered the oneness of life, there is a very important law that we must follow, and that is, of course, the golden rule. The golden rule, meaning that we should never imagine as true of another that which we would not want to be true of ourselves. We completed the last episode with the sentence, "Your conception of another, which is not his conception of himself, is a gift returned to you." So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into part 2 of Desire the Word of God. Suggestions, like propaganda, are boomerangs unless they are accepted by those to whom they are sent. So, your world is a gift you have given to yourself. The nature of the gift is determined by your conception of yourself, plus the unaccepted gifts you offered others. Make no mistake about this. Law is no respecter of persons. Discover the law of self-expression and live by it. Then you will be free. With this understanding of the law, define your desire. Know exactly what you want. Make certain that it is desirable and acceptable. The wise and disciplined man sees no barrier to the realization of his desire. He sees nothing to destroy. With a fixed attitude of mind, he recognizes that the thing desired is already fully expressed, for he knows that a fixed subjective state has ways and means of expressing itself of which no man knows. Before they ask, I have answered. I have ways you know not of. My ways are past finding out. The undisciplined man, on the other hand, constantly sees opposition to the fulfillment of his desire. And because of this frustration, he forms desires of destruction, which he firmly believes must be expressed before his basic desire can be realized. When man discovers this law of one consciousness, he will understand the great wisdom of the golden rule, and so he will live by it and prove to himself that the kingdom of heaven is on earth. We're going to go ahead and start right there. Neville's definition here of states. So your state is all that you believe and consent to as being true of yourself and others. So the state that you are in, and there are myriad states, there are so many different states, all different types of states that can be occupied, all different nuances to different types of states. And these nuances, and as well as the state itself, is defined by what you believe and consent to. I love that he says that. It's not just what you believe, it's also what you consent to as being true. It's what you accept. It's what you believe is true, and also what you accept or consent to. Acceptance is a consent. What you accept or consent to as being true, not only of yourself, but also of others. Neville has said that a lot in all of his previous work. And then in this chapter here, in this paragraph, he says it another way. And I want to highlight this because this is a nuance that is incredibly valuable to understand. He says, the nature of the gift, meaning your world is a gift you have given to yourself, the nature of that gift, or what kind of gift, that world is that you've given to yourself is determined by your concept of yourself, plus the unaccepted gifts you offered others. So your state, the state of your world, the state that you were experiencing, your reality is defined by your concept of yourself, yes, and also the unaccepted gifts you offered others, which come back to you, because a gift that is not received is returned to the giver of the gifts. Neville says, make no mistake about this, meaning this is a very important point. Law is no respecter of persons. We've talked about this before, but it's worth highlighting again. The law doesn't change based on who it is that is operating it. The law is a changeless law, and it's no respecter of persons, meaning it's not going to take pity on you and say, well, usually I would, being the law, I would give you X, Y, and Z. But because I'm being, sympathetic to your state, I'm actually going to give you something better than what you're imagining in this moment. Or conversely, you don't deserve this. I'm going to give you something worse than what you're asking for in this moment. The law doesn't do that. It's no respecter of persons. The law is impartial. It's impersonal. It doesn't care. The law is a law. It's a principle. It's mechanical. It's like a machine, and it just operates. It has no emotional attachment to who it's operating on behalf of. It simply does. And so Neville says, when you understand this, you must define your desire, know what you want, make certain that it is desirable and acceptable, and then see no barrier to the realization of that desire. See no barrier. The wise man sees no barrier. Now, it's not just wise, it's also disciplined. There's a discipline. You have to discipline your mind to see no barrier. How powerful is the person who has disciplined their mind to see no barrier? Can anything get in their way? The only thing that can get in your way would be something that you have conscious awareness of, a barrier. So if you choose through discipline of your mind to see no barrier, nothing can get in your way. It's a recipe for extreme power in manifesting. Continuing with Neville's words, he says, you will realize why you should do unto others that which you would have them do unto you. You will know why you should live by this golden rule, because you will discover that it is just good common sense to do so, since the rule is based upon life's changeless law and is no respecter of persons. Consciousness is the one and only reality. The world and all within it are states of consciousness turned into objects or objectified. Your world is defined by your conception of yourself plus your conception of others, which are not their conceptions of themselves. The story of the Passover is to help you turn your back on the limitations of the present and pass over into the better and freer state. The suggestion to follow the man with the pitcher of water was given to the disciples to guide them to the Last Supper or the Feast of the Passover. The man with the pitcher of water is the 11th disciple, Simon of Canaan, the disciplined quality of mind which hears only dignified, noble, and kindly states. Again, the man with the pitcher of water is the 11th disciple, Simon, the disciplined quality of mind which hears only dignified, noble, and kindly states. The mind that is disciplined to hear only the good feasts upon good states and so embodies the good on earth. If you too would attend the Last Supper, the great feast of the Passover, then follow this man. Assume this attitude of mind symbolized as the man with the pitcher of water. So the man with the pitcher of water who's leading you to Passover, that's a state of mind. That is an attitude of mind. It is a state of mind, and it's symbolized as a man with a pitcher of water. And Neville says, when you do so, you will live in a world that is really heaven on earth. The feast of the Passover is the secret of changing your consciousness. You turn your attention from your present conception of yourself and assume the consciousness of being that which you want to be, thereby passing from one state to another, or passing over. This feat is accomplished with the help of the 12 disciples, which are the 12 disciplined qualities of mind. Now, if you remember in season 3, which is all about Neville's book, Your Faith is Your Fortune, we did go into tremendous detail about these disciples and the disciplined qualities of mind that they represent. So check that out if you would like to know more about how these 12 disciples can help you pass from one state of consciousness to another or pass over. That concludes this chapter for this episode of Daily Neville. In the next, we're going to move on to chapter 8 of Freedom for All, a practical application of the Bible. And the chapter 8 is titled Faith. Until then, imagine wisely, my friends, and I will see you in the next.